There are a number of different approaches that you can take to playing jazz guitar chords, and certainly there is no right or wrong way to approach these. Some traditional methods that people may like to use are thinking of shapes and then moving those shapes around the fretboard, or what we're going to focus on in these sets, which is just making sure you understand every note on the fretboard and are focusing on building these chords and having a strong relationship with the notes on the fretboard to where you can create any chord that you want by your knowledge of theory and your knowledge of the fretboard. And this can be intimidating at first, but I would really encourage you to dive into this just to develop a really deep understanding of the notes on your instrument. And I think you'll find that very helpful in these chords and also from an improv standpoint. You'll notice in many of the sets, we start in set one with just a couple notes, but as we move on, we start to have some stacked chords here. And there's intentionally no chord symbols to focus on learning to read these notes and identify them quickly, see them, and just building that skill. And what you'll want to do is find places on your guitar that you best like to voice these. And in some of them, I will say, hey, consider moving them up an octave. This is a great example of where the strings that these best fit on may sound better if you moved the entire voicing up an octave. And so how can you do that? What would these sound like if you moved things on different strings instead of the strings that you're on currently? And so as you progress through the sets, I would look for ways to explore the fretboard and different places to voice these chords. Here's an example where these are going to fit pretty nicely on your top strings, and that voicing's going to sound nice. We've flipped the third and seventh of the chord up on top. And so as you're progressing through the set, you'll see there's a variety of different approaches to take when voicing these on the guitar. And it's really coming down to what sounds best for your ears with the people you're playing with. Maybe where is the piano voicing their chords, and how can I fit in to that sound that we're going for as a rhythm section. What voicings are comfortable for me to play at this level of my guitar playing. And so the best strategies that I would recommend using to develop this skill of the fretboard is to really utilize some of these tools you can find online. This is from guitar6.com. And this is just giving you an idea of on the staff, where do these fall on the fretboard? And you can use this to help you find places to voice these chords. And then you may even consider going to, here's still guitar6.com, but is printing out a fretboard and writing out some of these voicings and which ones do you like, and starting to make conclusions that yes, this is a dominant shape, but I know the notes of this chord. And so as you're going through these, I encourage you to really develop a deep knowledge of the notes on your fretboard and look into using some of these resources to help you out. And then when you get to the chord changes, certainly, use what you find most accessible in your guitar playing to do the best job that you can as a member of the rhythm section.